if one film can do good at the box office in any specific genre, then the rest of the filmmaker follows with similar genres. So it is just a matter of time. The one film has to hit the theaters. Neetu ma'am, she's so generous. She's so generous, Radhima. She's all heart. I mean, I was before this interview we were talking only. So it didn't come across to me that she comes from, like, despite of course she's born and brought up in a, but she doesn't come with that baggage at all. Completely, I'm very isolated. I'm right now on an island, living my own life, doing my own films. I am hardly a part of. Then why should I compete with people I don't know? I would rather compete with my previous version of me, myself only.
About a year ago, I think, I was really privileged to have done the first UK exclusive interview for this absolutely powerhouse talent in front of us, and that was for the film The Diplomat. And now I'm so pleased to be united once again with Sadia Khateeb. So, Sadia, thank you so much for coming back on Filme Shilmy, and it's so great to have you again.
It's
Um,
my pleasure.
I mean, look, Sadia, I mean, what a lovely film that we are talking about today. It's Daadi Ki Shaadi. It's directed by Ashish Mohan, who made Khiladi 786, and hear his back about, with Neetu Kapoor and Ridhima Kapoor Sahni's debut film with Kapil Sharma. I mean, what a lovely, lovely premise that is there. I think for you to kind of do a film of this nature, especially after doing really heavy films recently as well, it must have been quite a breath of fresh air, I think, for you to just get away from that dark and gloomy world, right?
Yeah, you said it absolutely correct. I mean, I signed this film way before the Diplomat was released. Um, and when I heard this script, I thought that this is something that at this point, after shooting for Diplomat, I needed. Like, as an actor, as a human being, also, you need to sometimes calm down. This film was that for me. I needed to be a part of this film and to do this film for me to know what it means to actually have fun on a film set. I
Right.
can put it that way. Like, and what it means to really have joy along with working passionately, working tirelessly, but what it means to really, really have fun also. And I think that this film came to me exactly at that point when I really needed that.
No, that's beautiful. And obviously the songs have come out, and it's so nice to see you working with Kapil as well, you
And
know. But I think one thing that I have to talk about here is, is Neetu Kapoor, right? I mean,
yeah,
she is the soul of the film. And of course, you've got such a legend like Sarat Kumar sir as well in the
she's a
film,
darling.
right? I mean, but I think it's interesting because I think when working with Neetu Kapoor, I think feel like she's got such an enigmatic and very energetic presence, right? Enigmatic and energetic at the same time in the same sentence because I feel like we've seen so much of her, right, of her work, but yet there's still so much we are still yet to see, and yet she kind of has that really positive feeling and the positive vibe. Uh, I think, sharing that rapport with her, but on the context of it being about dysfunctional relationships and this whole idea of second innings in life, that footing must have really made this experience a lot more, I guess, meaningful, right? And kind of, you take away a slice of life in that sense from this experience, right?
Correct. Correct. I mean, like you rightly said, I have had seen so much of her work before meeting her. But once I met her and once I got an opportunity to work with her, it was a completely new side of her which was revealed to me. And I realized that despite of working and having a legacy of your own, you can still be so refreshing and so new at this inning of life as well. I mean, it's so inspiring for actors like me, who, like, generally for all of us, especially female actors, who think that there is a certain limit to their acting draft or their careers. But when you come again in front of camera with a story like this, with a meaningful story like this, at this age, without any baggage of your previous work, and still nail it on the screen, I think it's her. And it was so inspiring to see that live. It gave me so much hope as an actor, because I think not just you when you work with her, when you see her in person, you completely forget whatever you have seen of her before, because she's just so raw. You say that for newcomers, right? Raw, innocent, refreshing. You literally use this word for people who are doing their debut. But I say that for her because that's how exactly you feel. Just real, no facade. And I think that's what I would say about her.
That is incredible. But I think and I said this to Ridhima when I spoke with her recently, that this film actually took me back in time, and it reminded me of a Dimple Kapadia and Rishi Kapoor starrer called Pyar Mein Twist. Now,
Okay,
obviously, it reunited them as the Bobby pairing, but it also spoke a lot about, second innings of life and
correct.
not allowing age to define the decisions you make in life to progress. Obviously, shadi is a concept which is literally so ingrained within the Indian subculture at this point. Like, I don't think we can ever escape the whole shadi conversation ever in
Correct,
life.
correct, correct.
But I think it's just really interesting because it really put a spotlight on that. I think for you, from a sort of perspective of someone younger of our generation, how has this film on the concept and the themes, like I mentioned earlier as well, about second innings and all of that, how has it kind of made you introspected and the way women, especially of the elder generation, because they've had to make a lot of sacrifices, right? And they've also been conditioned to a certain way of thinking. How has it kind of made you, in a way, I guess, question that conditioning and that way of life? And then also at the
Mhm.
same time, their decision to also move on with the times and with their decisions in this current space.
So I'll tell you something very honestly. What happened to me was I was with my sister sitting in a restaurant. And as we were talking, I suddenly noticed there was a theater projector behind me, which was playing Bandhan, and it was on mute. Okay? It was on mute. Note that. I remember I turned my table while I was eating food. I sat down there and literally sat there for hours and finished the whole film. It was on mute. I watched it, and while watching it, I'm literally saying the dialogues because I remember them by my heart. Cut to, at that point, I say this to my sister: can we now really watch a film without audio and know all the dialogues? Which was the last film which gave you this sort of experience? We don't make family films anymore. We don't make films that has any narrative about parents or grandchildren and anything like that. Oh God, this is so missing. Blah blah blah. It was just a moment of manifestation for me, I must say. Cut to 2 days. I'm not even kidding. I had my flight next day. I um I went. Bunty Ji and Ashish Mohan, the director of our film and the writer, they both narrate me this whole film out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, I go and I'm in the middle of story and I'm smiling to myself like, dude, 2 days ago I just asked for this. 2 days ago I'm talking about a film like this. 2 days ago I'm talking about a film, family dynamics, blah blah blah. And what are they narrating me? It's so similar to what was going on in my head, and I'm like, it's a sign, God, it's a sign. They finish the narration and I stand up. Yes, yes, I'm doing it. I just want to be a small part of a story that has some sort of meaning to it. Now coming back to your question, when there is a story that you truly resonate with, when there is when there are people who are talking, see, whatever you've seen out of trailer and songs says nothing to you what actually the story which we have read on paper was. It has much deeper meaning to it, and I can't reveal obviously much to you. But when I read the story, it's like, oh, this is so much like Bandhan too. I shouldn't be saying this, but this was my first reaction. It's yeah, it's like New World Kapoor and Sons too. I'm like, but obviously you will not get that idea after watching the trailer and the songs because you can't. This is my feeling. It's the first thought that came to my head when
Right.
I
Yeah.
read the script and heard. I mean, you can have a different perception to it. I'm talking about like people can have different vision to it, and and then when I was on a journey, apart from the fact that I was having so much fun, apart from the fact it was literally like a family of all of us together. We got together, we shot together. But at the same time, I was introspecting the fact that it's been 2 months I'm away from my own family. Shooting here, work is a priority. But we all are talking about a film, but we're all on the same journey together. My director who's away from his mother, my family, like, all of us. So yes, it did make me, and the first thing that I decided was yes, I should go back and spend some time with my family. And I just hope that more time with my family. I just hope that people who watch this film also take that back, take that narrative back.
Wow, what a serendipity. Like seriously, like this is proper manifestations actually showing its full glory here. And oh wow.
Right.
That's interesting. I mean, to be fair, Bagban, I think as a film, I was like, oh God,
That's
I blame this film because this is exactly why our parents have trust issues with their kids. You know, I gotta admit, no, but it's a great film. And I think I cried a lot actually, even as a 7-year-old when I first watched it. But I want to pick
yes.
up on what you said earlier, though, about the whole idea of, there being a very big lack of family-centric stories in today's day and age. And I agree with you. But I think also I have noticed that there are films that are kind of releasing of this nature, but it's nice that they're also very layered and convoluted. And case in point is Saurabh Shukla's Jab Khuli Kitab on Z5, right? That released recently. A gorgeous film, which also spoke about, dysfunctional family dynamics. And then obviously with this very beautiful, uh, picturesque, mountain-esque locations, very slice of life era, but also dark in places. And I think this is where I find Daadi Ki Shaadi very interesting because it kind of taps into that world, doesn't it? But why do you think there is a certain lack of family centric stories? Do you think it's because the the industry is kind of now veering towards stories that are more heavy, more socially driven, more action oriented? Uh, do you think that's what it is? What do you think is the reason why that there is a lack of such stories?
I don't know. I really don't have an answer to that. I think it's not just the see what happens now whenever there works a film which crosses 100 crore, then there is an entire wave of filmmakers making similar genre. It's a very regular thing. Like they do it very often. Whenever if one love story has worked, then you will see a lot of love stories following, even if there was a huge gap of no love story happening, which is great. That means people are getting inspired by someone's work and they are making. Uh, there was this one time when we had so many films like Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, so many family-oriented stories, like we said, Bhagwan and Kapoor and Sons, and they did pretty well also. And people loved it. And of course, all the films that were made by Suraj Pajatia sir and stuff like that. But and also Raksha Bandhan was also a pretty much family film. But I think it's also sometimes audience. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of time. If one film can do good at the box office in any specific genre, then the rest of the filmmaker follows with similar genres. So it is just a matter of time. The one film has to hit the theaters. Like when Bagman happened, I don't think it initially did really well at the box office. It was
Hmm.
the word of mouth, and then obviously on streaming platforms and stuff, they did well. So it is sometimes very unfortunate, but at the same time, there are always our parents and grandparents and generations different who want to see movies like that. I want to watch family films. I want to go to theater with my nanny and my parents and watch a film like that. It's a matter of time. Once once some film कोई भी film अच्छा कर ले, I hope it's ours. I hope.
Yeah.
Then I think people, then there will be more. It's also the demand now. The
Hmm.
demand from audience, that's what matters. What
Right.
they want to watch.
It's interesting though as well because I feel like because Ridhima, right? And I said this to Ridhima like earlier that it feels so bizarre that I'm saying you're making your debut at this point because I feel like we've known you for so long,
I
right?
know.
And we've seen you in the public domain so long because obviously being Neetu Kapoor and Rishi Kapoor's daughter, right? But it feels so strange that you're actually facing the camera for the first time from an acting
Right.
perspective.
Correct.
And I think you were once a newbie. right? And I think it's interesting because it's sort of dynamic that is there between you and her. It's very, very fascinating to explore, from one a debutante's perspective and someone who is, kind of in a cusp, I think, of doing more work. And you've had that whole journey of being in a debut before. So I guess what was that conversation like with her from a cinematic and artistic perspective? Because it's very interesting. It's very, very fascinating. You got someone with so much life experience, but yet facing the camera for the first time. And here you are also, someone who also has life experience, but you're not facing the camera for the first time. So how was that sort of dynamic actually like?
I'll tell you something. She comes from a family which has acting in their blood. It's
Yeah.
the legacy that she's born with it. Despite of the fact that she was facing camera for the first time, you can't from any angle say that she's facing camera for the first time.
Hmm.
She was there. She knew it. She knew her lines. She knew her moments. She knew her character. From head to toe, she was prepared. Not even for a second I could look at her and tell that she is doing this for the first time. She was proper. And it was so inspiring to see. And this is what I told her also. That's like that, yeah, it's in your blood. She doesn't need any advice from anyone. I think she just needs to do what she was doing because she beautifully did it, to be very honest. We both were just having fun along the process. Throughout the process, it was just about having fun, just about being there for each other. Be it Neetu ma'am, Ridhima, Kapil sir, or anyone who was on set. Everyone was just so there for each other. The dynamics was so honest. And I'm not saying this because we're promoting the film and people usually say when they work with Paul. I swear on God, Anush, I've said this before also like 100 times. I've never had a better experience of being on set than Daadi Ki Shaadi. Like because and it is also because of the people who were there on set. Neetu ma'am, she's so generous. She's so generous, Radhima. She's all heart. I mean, I was right before this interview we were talking only. So it didn't come across to me that she comes from like despite of course she's born and brought up in a but she doesn't come with that baggage at all.
Not at all.
She comes to
Not.
you as raw, as pure as my sister or my friends are. If you don't talk to her and you feel like, oh, there is any sort of inhibitions, I can say whatever I want to say to her. She says anything she wants to say to me. When, like, Abhi, we were discussing only when we were shooting for the film. I remember Neetu ma'am and Nidima ma'am was so precise about Sadia, you have to get your makeup right and hair right. You can't do this. Like, they was just like my, especially Neetu ma'am. I told her, you're just like my mother because my mom is also like, wear this, wear that. You should look like this, you should look like that. Your hair. She was exactly like that. And it is so comforting because obviously my mom can't travel with me on every film
Mm.
set, but there were these two women who made sure, who were literally like my mom and my sister because they were literally taking care of me like that. You can't be eating this all tel ka khana I eat. Then they would feed me what they were eating, which was healthier than what I prefer eating. It shows you have to take care of yourself and you learn so much that you learn about generosity from people like them who have had legacy, but at the same time no baggage.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just so refreshing. So my dynamics with Rudima, coming back to it has been very organic, has been very natural. It never felt yeah, it has been very natural. She makes it very comfortable. And I'm also someone like that who if I vibe with a person, then I vibe for life. If I don't vibe in the first reading or second reading, then I don't vibe. And I don't push or force the vibe.
Mm. Yeah.
I think they both had me at help.
That is so good. No, I love that, and definitely like what you said about Ridhima. And as I said that to her, I just love how bebak she is. जो
Yeah.
दिल में आता है वो जुबान पे आता है, and I just
I full
love
on, full on, full on.
that about her. She really is so authentic, and I think that's why I'm very excited actually to see how the film unravels. But look, I think Sadia, if you remember in the last conversation that we had, I noticed a pattern in the sort of works that you have done, and that is, of course, of playing characters which are um which are pristine, right? You have a very pristine appeal when you see those characters. वो बहुत pure होते हैं, लेकिन उनके साथ बहुत बुरा होता है उनकी जिंदगी में. They are basically dented because of uh let's say Shikara, because of terrorism, right? In Shikara, because of patriarchy in Raksha Bandhan, in Diplomat also because of patriarchy and a bit of terrorism also. So,
Correct.
it's interesting how you've had this tendency to really bring this fragility but formidability. I think this combination in the characters that you have played. I think for you over time, since then, I mean, since obviously since last year, oh, do you think that sense of formidability and fragility has evolved? And what do you think has really contributed towards this evolvement of, personality traits?
I mean, that's a good observation, though. But like I said last time also to you, nothing of it was ever planned, nor the kind of choices that I made, nor the kind of films that came my way and the characters that I did. Everything has been very destiny oriented. Whatever I've done so far, like now Kanu Ahuja, the character that I'm playing in Daadi Ki Shaadi, if I may speak about her, has her own storyline, has her own thought process. But she's not what Gayatri Husma or Shanti were. She's not in closer to their space. She's a very different, light-hearted character, which maybe some of the girls can resonate with. Very real in today's life, a very Generation Z, just her normal stuff. But um, what Scylla is like is not like Kanu. But this is not my choice. This is not something which I am consciously doing. It's just happening to me by Lamia with the options that he's sending. And it's just destiny, which is making me follow this path. And I cannot credit myself for something that I have no contribution in. So I really don't know. But yes, when I think about it, I feel really grateful that, wow, yeah, it's cool. Because lately, I was just in an interview and someone asked me the same question that why are all genres so different? And everyone is very different than each other. And I said, this can't be something an outsider with no backing, with not knowing anything plan. It's just destiny and Allah Mia helping me navigate and take me part of the process. But
Yeah.
it's interesting, no?
No, it's so interesting. No, it really is. And I think I remember when we last spoke, right? We spoke a lot about the way the functioning of the system, in terms of actors, especially. I'd say it's more challenging than ever, despite the
Yeah.
advent of social media and communication becoming more convenient. I feel it's actually become a lot more difficult in many ways because, you're having to, in a way, uh, it's more harder for you to kind of uh not be independent, essentially, right? I mean, you can be independent, of course you can. I mean, there are ways where you can venture out and do stuff on your own without having to go through the same sort of cycle that everyone else or being part of that rat race. But at the same time, realistically, eventually you do fall into the rat race, right? Like, I think that's what it is. Do you not think
But
so?
you have to constantly bring yourself back and know that you're not a rat, but a horse.
Oh, nice.
I
Love
mean,
that.
I am not in that race at all because I don't even know who the other rats are. I've not met any of them. I completely am very isolated. I'm right now on an island, living my own life, doing my own films. I am hardly a part of. Then why should I compete with people I don't know? I would rather compete with my previous version of me, myself only.
Beautiful.
Then it becomes much easier, no?
Yeah.
It becomes extremely easy for you. And why should I make things difficult for myself when I can easily make them easy and feel special?
Right. Absolutely. Now, I'm glad you said this, but the reason why I said this is because obviously we spoke about that whole idea of, and what I can also feel from the conversation that I'm having is the sense of confidence that you have grown like over the last year, Sadia. You were always confident, but right now it feels there's a sense of contentment I can feel from the conversation that we're having. Am I right in that judgment? Am I
I
right
never
in
think about contentment, honestly, because I will never be that good. I hope, but I've never been good. I'm still looking for, like, I want to crack that next big project with some big story, and the hunger and the striving thing is always on. Like, my blinkers are always on. But contentment nahi hai. It's much more, I'm much more calmer than before. Last 1 year has been incredibly beautiful, alhamdulillah, for me
good?
because not after dinner because I've done some work and I've explored. more of myself. How Diplomat was extremely physically challenging, mentally challenging, sorry. It made me much stronger as a person, mentally. Then I did Silla, which was physically very challenging. It made me physically very strong. So I think life has become, if I just surrender myself, which last time also I said, and if I truly do that, then life becomes much more easy and calm, and then you just enjoy failure, enjoy success, enjoy bad days. It's easier said than done, but it's possible. And when you do that, you appear very calmer. You're not the first person to say that to me. By the way, a lot of people who have met me lately say this to me that you're
Really? Oh,
very
wow.
calm. I moved to Mud Island now, by the way. I think it could be that also. I really don't know. Yeah, maybe.
That's interesting. But I
Maybe.
think no, but I think it's really interesting though because and I'm glad you mentioned Scylla because obviously that is gonna be that looks really fascinating. And obviously Harsh last year had Divaniyat, right? And
Massacres, yeah.
it was very intense. And again, I think this is one genre that I've always wanted to see you do is like intense romance. I mean, I know Shikara was kind of there, but let's be honest,
Light stream romance, yeah.
Shikara was more about about the Kashmiri Pandit genocide that happened and how, people dealt with it. So it was the angle was different. But here, this seems to be like a very shiddat wala romance, very passionate, very, emotionally and mentally
Yeah.
like a mindscape of a film. So I think for you to kind of get your teeth sunk into that zone, I would love to know what your observations were, what it taught you as well about romance, because I think romance is definitely in the air now, especially after last year. We had Tere Ishq Mein, you had Sayara, you had Dharak 2, so many top films which Divaniyat as well, obviously included in that really did well at the box office when it comes to, yeah, unwavering love.
So how was it for me to play Silla? I mean, can I even talk about it? It's just a matter of 2, 3 months where we in detail talk about it. But I'm extremely excited to talk about it. I swear, I want to tell you about my experience of going to the caves. I don't know if you know about them, Sonto
Okay.
caves and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and the romance and the action that they have done, and everything that has happened on that set. But I don't know if I can now. I mean, but I would say yes. I got to do dance, so dupatta udake, hawa mein, with big fan and lights. There was this one time we were shooting in Gulmarg Pahadon pe. There was this big light and this big fan boom raha hai, and I asked them that, what is this? They said it's beauty lights and beauty camera. I was like, oh my god, I love it. But what was this all my life? Where was this? What was I doing? हीरोइनों के साथ तो हमेशा होते हैं बोले या तो मुझे मुक्का मारते हैं या तो मेरी बुरी हालत करते हैं तो या तो इंजरी क्रिएट करनी पड़ती है सो इट्स नॉट देयर ब्यूटी बट हियर आई गॉट द चांस टू फुल्ली udao mat dupatta and do that. Oh, I have enjoyed it so much that I want to do that only for the rest of my life. Not always, but I'll go back and do it. And you know how it is like the
Yeah.
typically, oh my maza aa gaya. More than doing that serious intense acting, this was much more fun. It's so easy just someone taking care of your hair and this hair ka baal. It feels like a princess treatment. And the love story, of course. I'm gonna just zip myself. And I'm
Okay.
gonna go back.
Do you know what you've done
But
well
still,
though?
after 2, 3 months and then have a conversation about that. Fine.
Done. That's good. I think we got enough, I think, for now.
Yeah,
That
for
delivering
now,
my
I think I have told you enough about especially that fan and air. Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing though. Thank you for sharing that. But I think one thing that I do also really like, Sada, is that I feel like you have, because of how you are, and I've known you like for a bit now to make
Provided.
this
Yeah.
assessment. But I think, I think for me it's your emotional bandwidth, I think, that you have as a person, which is why you play these characters in these films, like case in point, like a Daadi Ki Shaadi, which does talk about fractured relationships, and fractured a fracture of sorts. And I feel like you're almost that sense of beacon of positivity in that dynamic. Like even in Diplomat as well, if you think about it, right? Like, you were that sense of strength, you were that sense of hope. And despite you feeling quite hopeless in the film and what happens to you in the film, I mean, it was horrible what she goes through in the movie. It was very hard hitting, very hard to watch. But yet, you've always been that glue, and I really like that. I really, really find that so fascinating. And I feel like it kind of without comparing or making a contrast, because I cannot do that because she's a legend. But recently I spoke to Farida Jalalji about this and how she's often played characters which are like glues or relationships in her films, and I just wanted to just mention that and bring that to your attention. Is this whole positive Wali vibe that you have and that whole idea of being that sense of strength, do you think that's exactly what you are in your real life too? And do you think that's somehow manifested into the roles that you get offered as well?
First of all, it's very, very, very kind of you to say that. It really means a lot. That's very sweet of you. But I don't know, Anuj. I mean, I've always said this. I don't know about manifesting these kind of roles. Maybe yes. But however, whoever you are, at the end of the day, no matter what character you play, your eyes can't lie. Chico, they never lie.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it has to be then. I don't know. I can't say that about myself. It would sound very narcissistic. But I maybe not. I really don't know. I really think it's just how I mentioned destiny and you're flowing with it and the characters that I would love to play an extremely dark negative character. And I will pretty much convince you that I'm that person and you hate that person. On
Oh
this
wow.
interview, I'm saying, inshallah, very soon.
Oh
What do
wow.
we do then? What will we say then? I
Well,
have also said that I am not even close to Shanti Gayatri Usma, maybe a little close to Tanu and maybe a lot more closer to Sela. But at the same time, it's just the characters whoever I've played about emotional intelligence. Of course, I think I'm a very sensitive person and emotionally EQ have हाँ बचपन से ज़्यादा था. But but it is definitely they're definitely not like me. They have my soul for sure. But as a person in day to day life, how I'm like, obviously, I've not gone through the traumas that these characters have gone through, be it patriarchy or the
terrorism.
political
Mm.
trauma. But at the same time, I don't know. I really don't think so. I think it's just I'm lucky. That's it. I can
Mm.
say that.
But you've persevered a lot though. You've persevered a
And
lot.
what?
Perseverance has been a big
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of your life,
yeah.
right? Because I think it's so easy, right? Because you know it's that one thing, right? It's like, do you sit back and wait for the right roles, or do you just constantly just keep reaching out, keep reinventing yourself, find different ways to better yourself as an artist? You know,
Both. Both. It depends on which phase of career I am right. I am someone who keep searching, keep reaching out to people, keep making calls, keep trying to find out who's making what where. But at the same time, I am still waiting continuously before I say yes to a project. I mean, I'm knocking doors, but I'm still staying and waiting here. Very fascinatingly, Silla and Dadi are both the films which I signed before the release of Diplomat.
oh wow.
I haven't signed Dadi after Diplomat. We didn't know back then when Diplomat would release, when would it come out. I had no idea. And I signed it before the release of Diplomat. And I'm so happy that it has come now. But at the same time, I didn't sign anything after Diplomat because nothing at that sort of came my way. So the journey has been, of course, doing these both films, but at the same time waiting and at the same time knocking each and every door and trying to find out who's making what and where is. So, which is something I can. Honestly, I really want to diverse into only
Hmm.
meaningful cinema, stories that I resonate with, people that I want to work with, characters that attracts me. At the same time, I just want to do as many films as possible. Tap into every genre that is out there possible. But at the end of the day, what is yours will come to you instead of you knocking million doors. And I've seen that both the films I signed before Diplomat were the films that would I was supposed to do anyway for my
Hmm.
destiny. But whatever has come to me after Diplomat hasn't attracted me enough for me to say yes. The films that I said yes didn't happen.
Hmm.
So it's a journey, it's a process that nobody knows. It's a code that I haven't cracked yet. And I don't know if anyone can tell you because I ask people who I've worked with that what is this formula, and nobody knows. We just work in a very unpredictable environment, in very unpredictable situations, and just the best way to go about it is just to surrender and live your day as it comes. Each day how it happens. I mean, and be grateful about it. At the same time, keep hustling.
Very true. But it's interesting though, because I feel like every time I've spoken with actors, right, and let's say they've done a really big film and it's gotten them good money and that character becomes really famous, the problem is that they then get offered the same type of characters everywhere. And I feel like this whole format of like copy paste wala format does not work anymore. I feel like, if anything is to go by, Dhurandhar has proven, right, that I think, quite frankly, focusing on your craft and putting something out there which is very unique, which gives a proper cinematic experience without the excessive noise, you know, I think that really drives a film nowadays. Do you think that, I mean, have you fallen prey to this whole copy paste wala formula in terms of the work that comes your way? Um, and I think, like you said just now, that the film that you signed did not happen. Um, I mean, that must have hurt though, right? Like, because obviously, I'm sure you must have really wanted it, but it never happened. How did you, I mean, number one, actually face it, the fact that it was a crap situation and you had to face it, and then also then come out of it? Because I think we have to acknowledge sometimes our situations are bad and there's nothing we can do about it sometimes, you know?
So answering your first question first about the typecast thing. I don't know honestly because I did not experience that. That people came to me with similar scripts. But yes, there was this one time a producer was reaching out to a director. I've heard this from people that people definitely talk about me as in, but she's a serious actor or she's an actor. So I'm thinking, when did this become a bad thing? And I say, okay, let's wait for maybe Daadi Ki Shaadi or Sila to come out for you to realize maybe I'm not a very serious actor. I can be seriously funny also. It's taken that. Uh, See, these are just normal conversations and noises. It doesn't really translate into anything, and it really doesn't mean anything. If an actor is a good comedy actor, action actor, romantic actor, and actor is just an actor, and you have to be like a clay where you can be fit into any mold and any vision that any director has. And this is what I personally believe. And there is no limit to a genre or a character that if I'm a good actor, there has to be. But then, so the typecast thing is not something I'm worried about because like I said last time also, I feel I've just started out. I'm only 5 films old, and out of which 3 are released. And I've just started out my work, and thankfully they're all different genres. I'm open to any sort of good work that I find attractive, that I like. And this is just the beginning of a career.
Hmm.
Abhi,
True.
there is immense genres that are pending. There are immense characters and roles that are pending, and there might be some characters which will be extremely intense, more intense than what I've done before. And there can be characters that are extremely lighthearted and like people be like, what has she done? And I'm open to doing both. It's
Hmm.
just that I have to enjoy and I want to really have fun with my life and really have fun with the characters that I.
Hmm.
Coming back to your second question, so I'm really not worried about the typecasting.
Hmm.
That is not something bothersome. Though I know that it is taking its own time. After a year, we are talking, people are in hurry and things are like, human is jalbaz and impatient. And I'm just learning to be patient with the journey that has been planned for me and it will happen what has to happen. Now, second question was yours, what?
Uh, the disappointment. It was a disappointment angle about
Now, disappointment. Again, the answer is. So, after coming back from Sila's shoot, I started working on a project which I was extremely excited about. And it was again very different and big cast and big production, everything big and perfect. I'm so happy and thrilled. And then suddenly, we had almost worked for 15 days on that project. Did everything, trials, rehearsals, dance rehearsal, learned dancing, waking up early morning and stuff. But anyway, before I was checking for a call time for the morning, I learned that film has been shelved and actor has backed off and whatever. The film didn't happen for me. In first 5 days, I was like, oh, okay, whatever, it's fine, whatever destiny. Next 10 days, I was, oh shit, I don't have anything till March now. What would I do? What have I done? Oh shit, what has happened? Next 1 month, I realized, oh, psychologically it is affecting me. Second month, I was like, listen, I've cried enough. I didn't cry, but factors like, mental cry, like, stress, think about it. It's fine if you worked hard or you thought a certain way about the project. It didn't happen. Maybe something better. Wait for. Okay, then what happened? I'll tell you. And then there is this our producer, Vipul Disha. Then one day I was speaking to him and I was telling him that how I'm so affected with this film, not happening and वगैरह. I worked so many days on this film and I was so ready and blah blah blah. And he said to me, which immediately changed my perspective, and I was absolutely fine. He said, सादिया बच्चे जब ऊपर वाला तुमसे फूल ले लेता है तो तुमको गुलदस्ता देता है और अगर वो तुमसे गुलदस्ता ले लेता है तो तुम्हें वो बागात देता है तुमसे तुम्हारा गुलदस्ता छीन लिया ना तो तुम इंतजार करो अपने बागात का मैंने कहा okay that thing it's just so random someone saying that to you in a very normal conversation it changed everything for me I'm like okay I'm gonna wait for my bagat and yes, okay, that flower, that guldasta did come to me for XYZ reason, which was not in my control. Obviously, film shelving after some work. It's sad. But was there anything I could have done about it? No. Was it in my control? No. So why should I even give myself a tad bit of stress on that? And now I'm only waiting for my bagat. So let's see.
That's beautiful. What a lovely explanation that was, though. But I feel this though because I feel like sometimes something an opportunity is fantastic, and it is fantastic, of
Yeah.
course. But sometimes it's not fantastic for you personally, and I just think that I do feel there's a reason why certain things don't happen. You know, and in hindsight, because see, I think God only knows why certain things happen. He hears, like, there's that whole saying that he hears conversations that you never hear, right? Vaisa wala cheez, and he knows the future. So I feel like I hear that very well. But coming back to Daadi Ki Shaadi now, it's nice to see you also having that sense of, dancing. I love Senti. It's such a great song.
Yeah.
Senti's lovely. And even the one that you had recently as well, that's with
Retro, Suno Na Dil. Oh,
Sunona
I
Dil.
love that. That song is so famous. It's my most favorite song. Suno Na Dil is insane. I love it. I heard it like many months ago before we shot for the film. I was like, this is going to be my favorite song. And what an amazing job Sonu sir and Sunili ma'am has done. And I'm so excited about being her voice.
It's
Like,
so
being
cool.
her voice.
It is so cool. Like, honestly, it's so lovely. And I'm so glad that you're, in a way, जो आपकी ख्वाहिश है, वो पूरी हो रही है इस film में. And what a lovely cast to be a part of, man, Sadia. Like,
I know.
really, it feels like a dream, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it feels so, it's just so lovely. It's so airy. And I just feel like it's that sort of film that, you just want to go to the cinema and watch, because I feel like we're all so fatigued by big promises and films not delivering, and even underdog films at certain points now we're kind of like, okay, fine, chalo ho gaya, it's good, but you kind of just want a film that gives you that rajma chawal wali feeling, right? And I think Dadi Ki Shadi seems
That
to.
suddenly made me realize I'm not even had breakfast and I'm so hungry. What is this Rajma Chawal Wali feeling you're talking about? Yeah. Shit, it's 6:30 here and I've not even had breakfast.
Oh my god, well, I think you're a bit late for that. I mean,
No, no, I'll have dinner straight now.
yeah,
But I
you'll
was
have dinner.
doing the interviews and stuff. Now the whole day went by.
Oh
But
wow. No, but it's really wonderful. But look, I think Daadi Ki Shadi is going to be really special. And obviously, I've not seen the film yet, so I need to still watch it. But I think I'm just really glad that we're seeing such stories. I think it's.
I just said this while I saw the film. I said that I really don't know what would be the end result of this film, honestly. You never know about any film. People while making Durandar didn't know what would be the end result for that film. But I for sure know that I have gained much more than what I would have otherwise gained from a film, from this film, which is the experience of shooting those 2, 3 months in Shimla and the entire journey. I told you that I needed to be a part of this film and do this light-hearted family film after shooting Diplomat and playing this one. I needed to be a part of this film to know what it truly means to have true fun on set. So I needed to know this side of the world also. And whatever will happen on 8th of May, inshallah, good. But I'm already very much content and grateful for the experience I've had. And sometimes more than the success and failure of the film, what truly matters is the experience of shooting that stuff, the journey and the people you work with. And I must not credit Ashish Mohan, the director of our film, who made sure that we all are together like this. And he was the captain of the ship who made sure that everyone is like family.
Yeah.
So yeah, keeping my fingers crossed for 8th of May, but at the same time, I'm gonna just cherish this for the rest of my life, the journey.
That was absolutely beautiful. But look,
And I hope I will cherish the destination as well. But let's keep the fingers crossed.
no, definitely not for sure. But look, Sadia, it's so wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know it's been so busy for you because of the promotions and back-to-backs, uh, film post-film stuff that you've got. But thank you so much for joining me on Film Shilmy. It's always so
Thank you
good.
so much for having me. I've always enjoyed talking to you. You know that very well.
Yes.
Whenever it's film coming, I only first think of speaking to you, and you're literally the first Zoom call interview we're doing. Actually, yeah. This is the second interview of mine today, by the way.
Wow.
But this is like the first one that I have planned.
Oh, this is exciting.
Like
Thank
this is
you.
directly like that because I've always had genuine conversations with you, so it's always great.
I think it's a dil se dil tak type situation. I
You
think
said this last time also, and
did
I
I?
yes, I
Probably.
remember.
But
I
yeah,
hope you
no.
say this only to me, huh, Anuj?
Yeah, definitely no. But I
It
think
better be I'm gonna stalk your rest of the interviews. If you say this to anybody else, I'm gonna call you up and say you can't say this to anyone but me.
copyrighted for our conversations only.
Correct,
No,
correct.
but it's great. But do you know what? I think this is what we're all about here on Film Show Me. It's about literally delving into, the spaces which might unsettle emotionally and mentally, but then also understanding the larger perspective about craft beyond the star that we have, right? And I think that's something which I've always found very fascinating. So I'm glad. I'm really glad, and I can't wait to see Daadi Ki Shaadi on 8th of May. And yeah, cannot wait. Thank you so much.
Keeping the fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.